What's up, guys? My name is Derek, and welcome back to Sundown Audio unofficial YouTube channel. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Woofer Test Wednesday. And yes, let me go ahead and say it up front. We will be doing a bench test on this video. You probably see it here in the background. We're doing a new product highlight, brand new. These are in stock right now, SD-4 series from Sundown Audio. So the SD series is our shallow mount subwoofers, and you can probably see them up here and see they're pretty short, pretty shallow. These are to fit in confined spaces like underneath the back seat of a truck, say behind the back seat in an extended cab or standard cab or something like that, or say you got an SUV, you don't want to lose a ton of room, you want to do a really small thin enclosure over to the side and the back, something like that. Kind of any scenario where you want to have very limited mounting depth, and you're just looking to run something small and simple and take up as little space as possible. So one thing I want to go ahead and put out here in the beginning, also, the shallow mount series like this, small sealed enclosures, that's part of their design. Besides being just short and shallow and able to get in spaces other subwoofers might not, but run in small sealed enclosures, extremely small enclosures. You can fit the enclosure places that other subwoofers might not go. Now, I'm sure you're gonna notice already in the video a bunch of major changes this compared to the old SD3 line. But let's go ahead and highlight what you can see here on the box, because people are going to ask, what is the power rating? So it is right here on the 10 and 12 model. It is 600 watts, and that is an increase from the previous models. And the SD4 8, it is 400 watts now. I believe the 8 used to be rated at 300. The SD3, 10 and 12 used to be rated at 5. So power increase across the board. And that's attributed to some of the cool new features you're gonna see, like these awesome Neo motors. Now, let's get into what you see on top. Probably one of the most unique things, and a thing you're gonna see as soon as you see these up for the first time. It's the biggest thing that's gonna stand out, because if they're in an enclosure, you're not gonna be able to see that nice, awesome, beautiful looking Neo magnet back there, but it's gonna be the surround. As soon as you see these, I think that's the number one thing that has stood out so far, is that all new kind of W-shaped surround there. Now, this is a, obviously it's all new, newly tooled, optimized. I'm gonna use that term a lot because there's so much of that going on in these subs. But this is a progressive surround. So what that means, being progressive and not linear, but progressive means it tightens up over stroke. Now, on the linear side, it is linear to a certain point, and then once you get past that, it's gonna start tightening up. Basically, when you get this thing moving more than what it should, because that's something guys like to do, because so many users out there think the SD series is a cheaper replacement to the bigger, better SA model. No, if you want the sound of an SA subwoofer, buy the SA subwoofer. Don't cheap out trying to get something like this and then put it in a big ported box like the SA series. You're going to cause damage to your subs. Seen it so many times. If you buy the SD series, small sealed enclosure. Now, back to talking about that awesome, newly tooled and customized, optimized surround there. So it is progressive. Now you're gonna get 15 millimeters of linear X-Max, and after that it's gonna start tightening up. But you still have as much as 25 millimeters of X-Mech. Yep, 25 millimeters, 1 full inch of travel from these short little things. Now, I don't want to do measurements while they're sitting up here on the cardboard, because this is going to crush in a little bit, but in just a second, I'm going to get these down on the flat table. I got a tape measure here, going to show you some measurements. But next things beside the surround, we also got a whole new suspension in here. So the Spider, it is also newly custom tooled, optimized, all that cool stuff. It's a Spider. Same thing to kind of get you all that throw you need from a shallow mount, which I think these are kind of class leading in what they do, being able to get a lot of sound from such a short model subwoofer. Now, I'm not going to tell you these are the shortest thing on the market. There are smaller ones, but in my opinion, I think these are going to give you the most boom for how compact they are, for the amount of space they're going to take up. All right, so I wanted to flip these things over, get those beautiful Neo motors showing, let you see them. Yep, you can see our banner up there reflecting off that back plate. But I'm trying to get a good look. Yep, you can see it right there. That laser etched Sundown Audio logo as well. SD-4 8D2 model. And even on these, you're going to see that laser etched Sundown Audio logo and SD-4 D2. Kind of highlighting, if you get one of these subwoofers, and you can't mistake what it is. It's going to say right there, this is something new coming on a lot of the subwoofers, including the new SA-V2 models. We're getting the laser etching on those back plates. Now, to highlight again, I mentioned earlier, these are all new Neo motor designs. Biggest thing going to a Neo motor, we're going to get the strength we need without all that ferrite, without all the heaviness. And that's probably a real basic way to say it, but these are insanely light compared to the old SD3 models. About probably a good 10 pounds lighter on the 12, maybe even lighter than that, but I'd say at least 10 pounds lighter on the 12-inch model compared to the old SD3. Now, these still run a 2.5-inch voice coil, which is why, you know, there's still a moderate power rating of 600 watts, even with these shallow mounts, guys are definitely putting more power to that and having luck with it, but we don't recommend it. Try and stick to your rated power, 600 watts. So with the Neo motors and the 2.5-inch voice coil, the motor design here, when Jake designed these, he was actually able to get the Neo on the inside of the voice coil. So all the Neo is tucked down inside there. Now the 8 looks completely different because it steps down to a 2-inch voice coil. And with the 2-inch voice coil, he wasn't able to achieve that. So the Neo here is around on the outside of that one. But on these, it's a pretty trick design. Obviously not anything new, not claiming we're breaking ground here, but it just helps shrink the size by getting the motor actually inside of the coil back there. So all this you're seeing is a steel for the back plate and everything. Now you're also going to notice lots of cooling channels, from the cooling channels in the frame you're going to see here, and cooling channels like this here and here, to some cooling channels in the motors itself. So all these little holes you see around that back plate, those are actually cooling channels. Same with these here. So all types of cooling, getting fresh air to breathe in and out of there, help keeping that coil cool, keeping the thermal capacity as high as possible. All right, so here I've brought out one of the older models. This is the SD3 12-inch, sitting here next to the brand new SD4 12-inch. Let you see them side by side, so if anyone's curious about which is which, you're having trouble telling the difference, here they are, right side by side each other. Now, mounting depth is pretty much identical, except for maybe the surround's not sitting on two of these quite right. But mounting depth is identical on the two. And while we're thinking about it, let me pull my tape measure out. So we're a hair under 5 inches, about 4 7/8 to the back there, so the actual mounting depth. And overall, we're about 5 5/8 to the top of your lip there. And of course, you see with both of these, even on the old SD3, we had that inverted surround, so that's keeping overall I'd say kind of travel down, so you can fit these under the seat without having to worry about a surround sticking up or any extra excursion there hitting anything. Same as we go to that W surround here, very low profile, keeping that overall movement as low profile as possible so you can get this close to anything as far as if you're trying to mount it under a back seat, things like that. One of the other huge obvious differences, obviously, when you look down here, is that motor design. Going from that old, big, flat, pancake style motor design to the new Neo. Now, besides all the benefits of getting it lighter, smaller, shrink it down, better cooling, all that stuff, one really awesome one that I'll try to do here one-handed. So depending if you're trying to mount these, like some guys will try and get them a little wedge enclosure or anything. Say you're mounting it behind the back seat of a standard cab truck or extended cab, something like that. If you have to get these at an angle, having that much smaller motor design back there, you can cram these in so much of a tighter spot compared to, and I can't hold them both at once, but because this is such a wider flat motor, when you want to angle it up, you kind of get restricted there, and it ends up almost vertical when you try and angle it and get it resting like so. Compared to, bam, this one just, it angles so much better, so much flatter. So there you go, showing some of the obvious differences. So if anybody ever gets confused and you're like, not sure what model you got, here you go. Everything from the dust caps, cones, surrounds, pretty much different from the ground up, sharing almost nothing the same except for the voice coil. They do still run pretty much identical voice coils in the tube, but that's something on the inside. Not really a concern, don't worry about that. Still gonna get increased power handling due to the better suspension, that progressive surround, the newly tooled optimized spider, and all them nice cooling channels in that Neo. All right, guys, here we go. I told you we were gonna have a test, so we're gonna do a little bench test. So yeah, no hating on this video. It's not just an intro video. It's not just talking about subwoofers. We got power to it. We're gonna turn it on, we're gonna play it. We're gonna show you what kind of movement this thing can do. And don't go nowhere, stick around, because I got one more test coming right after this. All right, now if you're not familiar with the Sundown test bench, I'll give you a quick overview. Obviously, we have things like our amp dyno chilling here. We test out amps. You see we got our nice, real carbon fiber. That is real. It is not an overlay. It is authentic carbon fiber. A bunch of y'all know we got carbon fiber cones and stuff in the works. This is the same exact carbon fiber we're working on using with those cones. But going back here, we have the excess power. We got a bank of D1400s, as well as a bank down in there of the excess power super caps. Bars, thanks to Jim's Machine Works. Then back here, depending on what we're testing, we keep one of our big SD-4 back here to power subwoofers, and that's what we will be powering our little SD-4 12-inch with today. Obviously not using all that power. We also keep a Sundown Audio SAX 200.4 mounted back here for testing any pro audio mids and highs, coaxials, things like that. So yeah, like I just said, we got the SCV-4000, stays mounted here for times like this. I've already got it all hooked up and wired up. Obviously, we'll be using nowhere near full potential of the amplifier. I'm gonna do my best to control with my head unit here and keep track of this subwoofer, because we're gonna put enough power to it. This thing's about to be jumping all over the place. And it's gonna be a little hard for me to hold the camera with one hand and the volume with the other. So to start out, we're running our System Checker, is the name of the track, by Bass Mechanic. It's what we use on our test benches to test all our subs with. So I'm gonna run it here. This is just a little free air test, just to get things up and moving. Yep, just barely getting that volume up. You can see the sub jumping around already. Now you're probably gonna hear all kinds of noises. You're gonna hear things like, because the subwoofer's free air, you're gonna hear some noises coming out of the cooling channels back here. You're also gonna hear different things around the room kind of vibrating and shaking and stuff like that. But I just wanna try and get in here, show you some of that movement. Now we're not fully maxed out yet. We're just getting up some good stroke right now. Hopefully all that's getting picked up on the camera. I am using a GoPro with, it is the GoPro Hero 7, and it has really good image stabilization. And I know in the past, it's actually made the subwoofers look like they're not moving as much because of the image stabilization. So fingers crossed, hope this comes through on the video pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more volume here. We're gonna turn it up, see what it can do. Hold on, let me let this track repeat real quick. All right, we're gonna give it a lot more volume. Let's see what happens. How much throw can we get? Whoa, got it moving. Look at that thing jumping. All right, let's give that a pause. Now, if you're wondering, I do have this thing sitting flat on the surface. I will point out again, there is no pole vent, there's no cooling channels on the back of the subwoofer. They're all around the side. So that means when you're mounting this in a really shallow, really short enclosure, you can actually get this thing sitting all the way down on the back of that enclosure. You don't have to worry about any clearancing on that on the back plate of that sub, any worry about cooling issues, nothing like that. All right, guys, I said I had another cool test come in, and here it is. So I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you guys. Do not do with this subwoofer, and we put it in a big ported enclosure. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you've been watching this for a while, this is the same enclosure we used in the Will It Blow episodes. We've done some other testing, I think, of this enclosure as well, maybe on the channel. Maybe I didn't put those videos out, but this is typically what we'd use on something like an SA-12, and got some SA-12s hiding back there behind the door, including the Send It model from the original Will It Blow series. It will be going back here eventually when we get time and run out of these new products to show off. But for now, exactly what I told you. Do not try this at home. Big ported enclosure, little SD-4 12-inch subwoofer. Let's turn it up and see what happens. We are still powering this with that SCV4000 from back there. This is a dual tube model. It is wired in parallel to 1 ohm. No clue how much power we're clamping, but we got the things in the room here shaking pretty good. All right, so there we go. We're gonna wrap this video up. Go ahead and let me know right now, put in the comments, what do y'all think of the new SD-4 line? What do y'all think of those tiny Neo motors? The all new surround right there, that progressive surround. Oh, the laser etched back plates back there. Put in the comments, what do y'all think? Is this something you might be interested in? Is this something you would buy and put in your vehicle? I can guarantee you 100% 4 of these subwoofers will be going in my truck. Project Toe Pig, which I'm just calling Toe Piglet now. Had 4 SD-310s I was gonna put underneath the back seat. That project had to take a back burner while trying to get Project SPL ready for finals. Finals is over, it's done with. Project SPL is going to collect dust in a corner for winter, more than likely, while we work on other things, including my 2500 HD that's getting 4 of these new SD-4 series subwoofers underneath its back seat. There'll be 4 of these on a 3K, and probably one of those new SFB models as well. SFB 3000 pushing 4 of these subwoofers. Coming soon. Make sure you're subscribed. We're doing a full install in the truck. Everything from alternator, power wire, battery install, running everything in the back, the head units. It's all coming. So will be a full video log on that, including building the enclosure for 4 of these subs, getting it put in, how I designed the enclosure, everything. So if you want to see stuff like that, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications. But that's it. Wrapping this up. Don't forget to put in the comments what you think. Make sure to click that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. Visit sundownunofficial.com for all your Sundown tees, Project SPL tees, experience over everything, all that good stuff. Plenty of things on there like, I don't have any here, the Sundown Heat Shrink, which are a very popular seller right now. Lots of other things available right there on the website, sundownunofficial.com. But that's it, wrapping the video up. So till the next time, guys, we'll see y'all there.